One, we're talking about the Hillside A, and this is kind of interesting. One woman about a month ago kind of threw out a little trial balloon. She's the alumni director, I believe, for Ashland High School. She wanted to get the A that used to be up there, that I guess is still there, but kind of overgrown. She wants to get it back on the hillside of Grizzly Peak. And so now we've got, of course, as soon as that story came out, an immediate reaction against it a little bit. What do you guys think? I mean, what do you do with this?
What's wrong with a little A?
I kind of think it's a neat little small town thing. It doesn't. When I first heard about it, I thought, cool, little Ashland.
So you got an example of what it might look like?
Yeah, well, one of the people who read Bob's story first was kind of excited, and she sent him this book, Hillside Letters from A to Z, a guide to hometown landmarks. Just these letters from little towns all across America. It's by Evelyn Corning. And here's an A in here that is kind of an interesting example.
Where's that A from?
That's from Arizona State in Tempe, Arizona.
Okay, she's
Arizona
not talking.
State.
That may not be exactly the A they're talking about.
Right.
Do you have another example?
There's a compromise, maybe.
That could be one A. I don't see that being really popular.
Here's an A that the deer made.
Well, that's a little better. Can we get in tight on that one? See how that goes. We're getting there. Well, that's a harder one to see.
Anyway, it only shows up in the wintertime.
Well, that's a P. There it is.
Oh.
Now, see, that's an A that you could live with.
You put that on Mount Ashland.
I think there's one more A, right?
There's 1,000 letters,
but
or at least
there's one more that actually
letters.
might be a little more what she
My
has
favorite is a little curly Q, small A.
Little curly Q, yeah, an artistic
nice
A. We're going to have an A.
I don't know if this is the one you're talking about.
This is the one. This is probably most accurate to what she's looking at. So,
but, we're looking at this from a great distance, so it doesn't look like a bunch of white rocks on a field of garbage. From the town city, it'll look like a classy A.
Okay, now I got to admit, when this first came out, you think, yeah, you've seen them everywhere. What's the harm? But people don't share that opinion, and the placement of the A may be the issue. I mean, it may have been fine 30 years ago to have an A on Grizzly Peak, but really, that thing is going to be an eyesore. I mean, I don't see how you can support that.
Yeah, people say the same things about the sign of the Palms Hotel. It's just a piece of Ashland history. It's something that it never should have been stopped. We got through that rough period. It's time to put it back up.
Did they stop it? Was it stopped?
I don't know if
just neglected.
Neglected.
It's been neglected, so they're bringing it back.
What's the big deal? You go from small town to small town. Some of them have water towers with the big whatever they have on the water towers, and some of them have hillsides with the letters on it. I think when you're headed up to Grants Pass, you'll see the big R.
Yeah, but usually it's on an indiscriminate hill, maybe right on the freeway. You're looking at billboards, and then you see an A. Welcome to Ashland. Okay, that's one thing. This is on Grizzly Peak. I mean, you might as well, take and put a big top on top of, a circus tent on top of Ashland Springs. That's how out of place this thing's going to look. It's not good. It's not a good idea.
I wouldn't mind a big top on top of Ashland Springs.
That would be fine with me. Ashland is not so pristine that it can't mar its landscape, and I don't think it's actually a marring of the landscape. I think it's pretty cool. That it's a school thing. Anywhere you go, you see letters on hillsides. That's a school thing. We're a family town.
It ties the community together, and instead of waking up every morning and having your own personal pristine view of the world, you look up and you're like, I'm part of Ashland.
Yeah, the school's already backed away from it. They've heard the same complaints.
Because they're smarter than we are.
I mean, they don't even want it. I mean, they're saying, well, it might have been a good idea, but who needs the grief?
Exactly.
I mean, so now you've got this lady who originally said, well, I just kind of want to do it. Now she's determined to do it. In classic Ashland format.
I agree with the school.
She's going to go up there with no support and go do it herself if she has to. That's just asking for trouble.
The school's right. It shouldn't condone it, and it shouldn't have an official stance on it at all. I think that if there's enough people in the community that want to do it and continue the tradition, why be against it?
What's really funny is, how does this end up? I mean, the Oregonian picked up this story of ours, and they sent their own reporter down. They did it in their Sunday Oregonian last week. How does this become news? I mean, this is the kind of thing that people love. The fact that it's even controversial in Ashland, I think, is surprising to a lot of people.
There is nothing going on in Portland.
Well, that's the only thing we could. Yeah, I mean, they said we need a story out of Southern Oregon. Gee, of all the things going on right now, how about the big A on the hillside? You know, it is comical that the frog jumping is controversial, the big A is controversial. I think it's going to be news, and the Oregonian needs to run down here with everybody when there is something that is not controversial.
How old is this woman that's on this crusade?
She's 70 years old, I think, and she's talking about hiking up there and doing it herself. That's a bad idea. I think she's going to do it. She needs some help. Need some support. I don't know. It sounds like you two are in favor of
Miles
it.
has got some time on the weekend.
And it sounds like you're advocating for her to get some support.
I don't think she should do it. That's the wrong place. Grizzly Peak, not a good idea. It's going to look terrible, and it's going to irritate. If they get it done, then you'll really see us covered. It'll be news then.
Where could they put it that it wouldn't be so controversial?
Well, like I said, you just do it on a little hillside right next to a freeway in some nondescript area, right as you're driving in. That's better than up on Grizzly Peak. It's crazy.
We should put it out there where the cows are grazing.
Well, there you go. Anywhere. You don't think it's news now. You wait until if they...
It's in the Oregonian. It's news already.
Well.
What's up with that?
That's just crazy. But it's literally, they're going to weed that thing, they're going to paint the rocks white, and then the fur is going to fly. Trust me. All right. That's it for that. Second